News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KBNU.
KBNU News Time is 4:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by Roof Rescue. A 42-year-old Smithfield man has been arrested for allegedly stealing from a Hyde Park business back in September, according to law enforcement. Brian Dean Bueller was booked into the Cache County Jail Thursday after a warrant had been issued for his arrest. According to the warrant affidavit, North Park police were called to the business on September 20th. The alleged victim claimed an individual had stolen a raw black walnut log from their lot. The log was valued between $2,000 and $5,000. The general manager of the business provided officers with surveillance footage from the night before. It showed a white pickup truck drive through the area several times. It later captured a telehandler forklift with the log on it. Police learned the telehandler had been taken from a nearby construction site without permission of the owner. The lift was recovered by employees in a nearby field. Officers identified the suspect as Bueller based on the uniqueness of the stolen item and the registration of the white pickup, according to the affidavit. Police later located the stolen lumber at one of Bueller's relatives, who said the wood was found in their pasture. The property owner, general manager, and telehandler owner each signed written statements outlining that they had never allowed Bueller to access their properties. On September 25th, Bueller reportedly contacted police and left a message claiming that he rightfully purchased the log he apparently stole. Since that time, though, police had attempted to contact him multiple times, but he would not respond. Jail records show Bueller was charged with theft and wrongful appropriation, both third-degree felonies. He was later released on $10,000 bail. An arraignment hearing has not been scheduled yet. KBNU News Time is 4:07. KBNU weather for tonight, still a winter storm warning in effect for the mountain areas of northern Utah. That's in effect until 5 o'clock on Monday. And we still have a winter weather advisory in effect for the valleys, including the Cache Valley for tonight until about 11 o'clock. Our forecast this evening, snow in the forecast and also snow and rain. The overnight low around 30, and then snow and rain in the morning, rain in the afternoon on Saturday, high temperature around 40 degrees. Right now we have 35 at KBNU. KBNU weather brought to you by Logan Dental Associates in Logan and Cherry Creek Dental in Richmond. If you have health benefits that need used before the end of the year, make your appointment with Dr. Taylor, Larson, Harris, or Prevey this afternoon with Logan Dental Associates in Logan and Cherry Creek Dental in Richmond.
This is David from Roof Rescue. A roof is not something most people think about until they notice a leak on the ceiling. This time of year, fluctuation in temperatures, along with rain, snow, and ice, can do a number on your roof. If you notice these leaks, they won't go away on their own and are oftentimes a sign that the roof has reached the beginning of the end of its life. Call Roof Rescue for a free analysis, diagnosis, and estimate. Let's fix those leaks and keep you dry this winter. Call 435-999-4268 or visit roofrescueusa.com. Roof Rescue, providing watertight peace of mind.
KBNU News Time is 4:08. Avalanche danger extremely high heading into another holiday weekend. Snowbird Resort General Manager Dave Field said this is an all-time start to the ski season here in Utah. People are excited to have this much snow, and the skiing has been amazing. A snowcat operator triggered an avalanche at Snowbird during a closed-terrain grooming session. Field said the driver was okay and no one was injured. They did some additional avalanche mitigation in the area. Mark Staples, director of the Forest Service Utah Avalanche Center, said they have had some weaknesses in the snowpack and they've produced avalanches, and they're going to put more snow, more weight on them, so he expects to see more avalanches this weekend. Staples was out skiing on Thursday and said he's most concerned about that avalanches are breaking deeper in the snowpack from a layer that formed back in mid-December. Staples said those will break wider and farther. And in fact, there was one just triggered yesterday in central Utah where people were riding in flat terrain below a steep slope, and they triggered it. So much snow is exciting, but outdoor enthusiasts must let the mountains dictate what they do. Staples advised that rolling terrain less than 30 degrees is great. Just avoid being under or on slopes steeper than 30 degrees. And are you still looking for a place to get rid of your aging and dry Christmas tree? The city of Ammon, Idaho wants as many trees as possible so firefighters can create a giant blaze for the community to watch. The city of Ammon, along with its sponsor, Lookout Credit Union, is hosting an annual event called Icy Inferno, in which a Christmas tree bonfire, which is a Christmas tree bonfire and fireworks show. The event will be held January 21st from 6 to 8 p.m. So contact Ammon City, Idaho, if you have a tree you'd like to donate. KBNU News Time is 4:11. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
Anderson Seed and Garden's huge Christmas clearance is going on now. Trees are 40% off and nativities are 30% off. Everything else in the store is 50% off. Yes, that is half price. That includes decorative floral picks, ribbon, garlands, and wreaths, ornaments, and much more. All sales are final. It may be winter, but it's never a bad time to learn about gardening from a master gardener. Gardening classes start in January. See store for details. Come see what's new at Anderson Seed and Garden, Logan.
Weather changes are tough on your transmission. As we move to colder winter weather, AMCO Transmission invites you to bring your vehicle in for preventative maintenance before the snow flies. Have a diesel pickup, Cummins, Duramax, or Power Stroke? AMCO in Logan is your transmission specialist, and they promise to get you in quickly. For over 50 years, AMCO Total Car Care has been experts in repair for transmissions, brakes, tune-ups, and more. Find your local AMCO at 75 West, 2000 North. Call 752-1940.
Welcome to KBNU's For the People, our final show of the year 2022. What we have planned for everyone today is a special 2-hour movie show with Andy Morgan here in the studio to review the year in movies and take a look ahead a little bit at what we can expect from 2023 and the award season just around the corner. But before we get to the movie show today, there was big news today in the headlines. A suspect in the killings of 4 University of Idaho students back in November was arrested today in Pennsylvania. A law enforcement official said in an official press release ahead of a news conference that happened today at 2. Moscow Police Department said they would be holding this press conference today after the news and confirmation was provided, providing an update on the case. They couldn't say a lot, but arrest paperwork filed by Pennsylvania State Police in Monroe County Court said that a 28-year-old man, Brian Christopher Kohlberger, was being held for extradition in a criminal homicide investigation based on an active arrest warrant for first-degree murder issued by the Moscow Police Department and the Latah County Prosecutor's Office. That press release came out with the announcement of the press conference, which happened at 1 p.m. Moscow, Idaho time, and 2 p.m. our time. So before we get things started with the movie show, for those who weren't able to watch the press conference live today, here is what Moscow Police Chief had to say.
Thank you for coming today. Last night, in conjunction with the Pennsylvania State Police, Federal Bureau of Investigation, detectives arrested 28-year-old Brian Christopher Kohlberger in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, on a warrant for murders of Ethan, Zana, Madison, and Kaylee. I want to personally thank these agencies for their assistance in this case. Kohlberger resides in Pullman, Washington, and is a graduate student at Washington State University. We will provide as much information as we can about the extradition to Idaho and the criminal process. However, due to Idaho state law, we are limited in what information we can release today until Kohlberger has his initial appearance in Idaho court. I want to express my appreciation to our local community, the people of Idaho, and those throughout our nation who provided information to help us investigate these murders has been very impressive. We've received over 19,000 tips, and we've conducted over 300 interviews. To recap this case, on the evening of November 12th, Kaylee and Madison arrived home at about 1:56 a.m. after visiting a local bar and street food vendor. Ethan and Xana were at the Sigma Chi house before arriving home around 1:45 a.m. The two surviving roommates had also been in the community but returned around 1 a.m. On the morning of November 13th, a 911 call was made at 11:58 a.m. reporting an unconscious person at the residence. The call came from inside the home from one of the surviving roommates' cell phones. Moscow police responded and found 2 victims on the 2nd floor and 2 victims on the 3rd floor. On November 17th, autopsies were conducted and the Latah County coroner confirmed the identity of the 4 victims. The cause and manner of death was homicide by stabbing. Some had defensive wounds, and each had been stabbed multiple times. These murders have shaken our community, and no arrest will ever bring back these young students. However, we do believe justice will be found through the criminal process. This was a very complex and extensive case. We had developed a clear picture over time, and we stand assured that the work is not done, but be assured the work is not done. This has just started. Since November, we have remained laser focused on pursuing every lead in our pursuit of justice for the victims and their families. I recognize the frustration with the lack of information that's been released. However, providing any details in this criminal investigation might have tainted the upcoming criminal prosecution or alerted the suspect of our progress. We will continue to provide as much information as we can as the process moves forward. Today, I want to specifically thank our dedicated Moscow Police Department detectives, patrol officers, the Idaho State detectives, the Idaho State troopers, and their crime lab technicians and scientists, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation for the resources and personnel to conduct this massive investigation.
After the chief's remarks, he turned the mic over during the press conference to the Latah County prosecutor, Bill Thompson, who explained a bit of what happens next after this arrest has been made.
And it's sad to be here, but happy to be here at the same time. As Chief Fry indicated, a criminal complaint was filed yesterday here in Latah County, charging the defendant, Mr. Kohlberger, with 4 counts of first-degree murder, in addition to felony burglary, which involves entering the residence with the intent to commit the crime of murder. Mr. Kohlberger, and let me preface, there's a pending case now in court, and I and my office and the investigators have to live with the restrictions that our Supreme Court places on pretrial publicity. That said, I promise you we will share with you through the court process or otherwise whatever we are allowed to. I just appreciate your patience on that. The factual basis for the charges are summarized in what's called a probable cause affidavit that is on file with the court. According to the rules of the Idaho Supreme Court, that is sealed until Mr. Kohlberger is physically back in Latah County and has been served with the Idaho arrest warrant. At that time, we expect that that affidavit will be available to you so you can share the true facts with all of your readers and your watchers and your listeners and all the people who are interested and really need to know what's going on. So please have patience with us on that. We hope to get that to you as soon as we can. As far as Mr. Kohlberger, I can share with you that he is a graduate student at Washington State University and has an apartment residence over at Pullman. He has had an initial appearance in front of a judge in Pennsylvania. He is being held without bond, and the warrant from our magistrate judge here also provides for no bond. We understand that he's scheduled to be back in court in Pennsylvania next Tuesday afternoon, and that a public defender has been appointed for him there. The process at this point is, since he was arrested in another state, he has the opportunity to either waive extradition and return voluntarily to the state of Idaho, or if he prefers not to waive extradition, then we will initiate extradition proceedings through our governor's office. If we do that, it can take a while for him to get here. So again, I'm asking for your patience and understand that's just the way the system works. Once he gets here, he'll have an initial appearance with our magistrate. They'll deal with issues such as making sure competent counsel is representing him, and the case will be scheduled for further hearings. Your primary source of factual information is going to be the court record, because that's what the Supreme Court says we need to refer you to. So please pay attention to what's going on in court and have people there to watch and hear what's being said. As an attorney, myself and my office, we are limited on what we are allowed by the courts to say outside of the courtroom.
After some remarks also by Idaho State Police Chief Kendrick Wills, Chief Fry of the Moscow Police Department stepped back up to the microphone for a Q&A, and the first question was asked, probably the first question on everyone's mind, even those of you listening right now, what evidence led to the arrest of the suspect and to tracking this individual, Brian Christopher Kohlberger, all the way to Pennsylvania. Chief Fry said there's not a lot he can say right now.
As I've said in the past, that's part of our investigation, and we won't be releasing that this time. We will have those answers. We'll have them as soon as we can make those available to you.
Then a quick follow-up and a two-parter. Is our community safe, or is law enforcement still on the search for other suspects who might be involved in this attack?
What I can tell you is we have an individual in custody who committed these horrible crimes, and I do believe our community is safe, but we still need to be vigilant, right? We still have talked about this in the past. We always need to be aware of our surroundings and make sure that we're aware of what's going on.
If you'd like to watch the full press conference, I've linked to the live video on YouTube, courtesy of the Moscow Police Department and several Idaho media sources. That's linked on our Facebook page. It was about 30 minutes long. You've heard about 10 minutes of the most important highlights there, and that brings everyone up to speed on this big news today, wrapping up the year with some closure for the families experiencing this tragedy, for the community in Moscow, Idaho, and for all of us who have followed along over the last month and a half. Some closure today with the arrest of the 28-year-old Brian Christopher Kohlberger, again in Pennsylvania. Extradition process may take a while or may be quick, either way, once he is back in custody of Idaho law enforcement. Chief Fry saying more information at that point can be released. A constitutional provision in Idaho that stops them from saying too much. And then, of course, in an ongoing investigation, they're going to be a bit tight-lipped about this. But Chief Fry saying there at the end, he believes that at this point the community there in Idaho is safe, implying at least that they are not looking for any additional suspects. So there's the latest on this long period of time that we've all been following this story out of Moscow, Idaho, and the killings of 4 University of Idaho students back in November. And again, if you want to know more, CacheValleyDaily.com, links there as well on our Facebook page. And we'll be back with more of For the People and officially get things started with our special 2-hour movie show recapping 2022 and taking a look ahead at 2023 with Andy Morgan here in the studio, the For the People movie show, right after this.
Dr. Josh Red, chiropractic physician, explains how Red River Health and Wellness can help you.
A lot of our patients end up having autoimmune conditions. This is where their immune system, rather than attacking bacteria, a virus, or other bad things, it starts to attack their own tissue. This can cause so many different issues and symptoms throughout the whole body. The biggest thing for us at Red River is to identify what's causing the autoimmune response to flare up. This could be intestinal problems, blood sugar imbalances, cortisol defects, hormonal imbalances, along with something as simple as dietary triggers and environmental triggers. One of the most common causes, too, when you have an autoimmune condition is you'll have inflammation throughout the whole body. Not every patient will have the same imbalances or the same triggers, and so we have to customize a very personalized treatment plan in order for these patients to feel better.
Schedule your appointment today at 855-55-RIVER. Red River Health and Wellness with offices in Logan, South Jordan, Springville, and St. George.
Call Red River today.
You might ask yourself, when is the best time to start saving for retirement? The answer is simple. It's today. An Edward Jones financial advisor is here to help. They will work with you to build a plan for your ideal retirement by identifying your unique goals and help keep you on track to achieve them. The sooner you get started, the better. Call one of the 7 Edward Jones locations in Cache Valley to schedule an appointment today. Making sense of investing. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Did you build a new home? Regardless of how clean your builder was, your ducts will have a variety of construction debris in them. Debris like sawdust, flooring pieces, sheetrock dust, and more. You do not want to move into your home with that debris in the ductwork. Call the Duct Hunter and get on the schedule today. Call the Duct Hunter at 770-4813.
We are the Duct Hunter. Breathe better, save money, protect your home. We are the Duct Hunter.
It's Fisher Home Furnishings year-end liquidation. The last week of the year, Fisher's marks down and clears out all overstocks, one-of-a-kinds, unclaimed layaways, closeouts, late Christmas arrivals, and discontinued items. Take another 20 to 40% off the lowest marked sale price. Bassett, Lazy Boy, Flex Steel, Serta, Bernhardt, Lexington, all the best brand names at the year's biggest discounts. 20 to 40% off the sale price. Fisher Home Furnishings year-end liquidation sale. No interest financing. Sorry, no layaways at these prices. Shop in-store or anytime at fisherhf.com.
I saw Wedding Crashers accidentally. I bought a ticket for Grizzly Man and went into the wrong theater. After an hour, I figured I was in the wrong theater, but I kept waiting. That's the thing about bear attacks. They come when you least expect it.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. Getting underway here with a special year-end for the People movie show. Andy Morgan with us to recap 2022. Look ahead at 2023. We've got awards season around the corner, which will, come faster than we think. And we also have some hints at what the 2023 summer movie season might look like. But 2022 was a pretty big year. Andy will have a box office update for us. We'll also have some opportunity to talk about the people's favorites of the year versus the critic favorites of the year. Here in Logan, if you're looking to see a movie over the holiday weekend, you can see, of course, if you've got 4 hours, Avatar, The Way of Water, Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. Put a pin in that one because this one, I don't know why, and I haven't seen the earlier one, but for some reason this one is getting a lot of attention. And a lot of people, especially critics, but also people I know in my personal life that wouldn't normally be, you would think, animated cat movie fans. People are loving this one. So that's playing here in Logan. That also Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody. This is, as the name implies, this is a Whitney Houston themed show. It's a celebration of Whitney Houston's career and life. It's directed by a woman named Casey Lemons, written by Academy Award nominee Anthony McCartan, and produced actually by Clive Davis, who produced a lot of Whitney's music. So It tracks her life from New Jersey choir girl as a teen to one of the most famous and best-selling R&B artists in history, literally. I haven't talked to anyone who has seen this, but critics are saying that it's a pretty emotional film and that it's something that might appeal to even those who weren't fans of Houston's music. So that is playing here in Logan. Babylon with Brad Pitt. Andy talked about this last week on the show. I would summarize his comments last week as not bad, but what's the point? And I've heard others kind of
arrested for the murders.
It's a strange, I don't know. It's kind of a tribute / critique of 1920s Los Angeles and Hollywood, and people with outsized ambitions and lack of scruples. Culture in the 20s, think the Great Gatsby, the excess of the time pre-Great Depression. And it's kind of what it seems or what it sounds like. What I do know about this, for those looking for a movie to see this weekend, again, I have heard from those who saw it, and Andy told us this last week as well, it very much earns that R rating. So this is not a soft R for some language. This is a film that is about the decadence of the time. So, fill in the blanks there. So, but that is playing here in Logan. Violent Night is playing. This is a Christmas-themed horror movie. Andy told us last week. It stars John Leguizamo, Beverly D'Angelo, famous from the Vacation movies, Alexis Louder, and Alex Hassel, and it is the story of, not horror movie, thriller. It is the story of a bunch of mercenaries that break into a compound of a wealthy family on Christmas Eve, taking everybody hostage. And the team isn't prepared for a surprise, who happens to be dressed as Santa Claus, played by David Harbour. You might remember him from the Stranger Things series, the sheriff. And he's on the grounds, and he is there to, break the family out. Andy said the movie was surprisingly hilarious. So maybe that's one to get out and see. I also know from Andy, from others who have seen it, this one also earns its R rating, not for the same reasons as Babylon, this one for violence. And then, of course, The Fabelmans, Steven Spielberg's quasi-biopic movie. I saw this. It was really good. Spielberg has said clearly that there are only a few stories in the film that actually come from his life and his experience, and they're not major plot points. The rest of it is all a fictionalized tale of a family, but the story of the family being told around the young man's dream to become a film director and producer, as Spielberg did at a very young age. So, and of course, Spirited, PG-13, still in theaters with Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds. That one, still people really finding that funny. So if you're looking for something that will make you laugh, that's probably your best pick. Also playing here in Logan, one other option for you, if you're looking to get out and see something this holiday weekend, you can also see at the, I already mentioned it, if you've got 4 hours, you can also see Avatar, The Way of Water. Avatar 2, that's playing at both the University and Providence theaters. And I'm not kidding about the 4 hours on that one. It's good. You'll like it, even if you didn't like the first one. But the runtime of the movie itself is 3 hours and 22 minutes. And if you've been to a Megaplex recently, they have between 15 and 20 minutes of trailers and ads that run before that. So you plan ahead on that one. And no, there is no intermission, but there are some websites you can visit that will tell you the best times to, in fact, this is the name of one of the websites, Run P. You can see the best times to Run P if you need to, which I would guess most people in a nearly 4-hour movie experience are going to. So, Avatar Way of Water playing at both Megaplex theaters here in Logan. So, on the other side, we'll get things underway with the For the People movie show. Andy Morgan will take a look back at 2022, the best and worst. What you can watch for as these films from the last year start hitting streaming services and rental services and more. And then we'll also take some time to look ahead at 2023, the award season around the corner and more. All of that coming up as the For the People movie show continues right after after this look at the news with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KBNU News brought to you by Northern Steel Buildings. The winter weather advisory has been dropped for the Cache Valley area and western valleys in Utah. The winter storm warning does remain in effect for the mountain areas. We'll give you more on that in the weather in just a moment. The identity of a 20-year-old woman who died in a crash on US 40 through Wasatch County was released Thursday. Lauren Reynolds of Vernal was killed after she allegedly crossed the center line into eastbound lanes and collided head-on with a GMC Yukon during slushy and snow-covered road conditions Tuesday morning at around 10:50 a.m. Officials say that Reynolds suffered fatal injuries and was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the Yukon was transported to a nearby hospital in serious condition. Several other children in the Yukon were also transported with minor injuries. US 40 was shut down for around 2 hours in both directions while officials investigated. It's been an expensive year for grocery shoppers, with the cost of chickens and eggs hitting its highest price point yet. Many families had to adjust their budgets and hope the new year will bring lower costs. Fox 13 asked the Utah Department of Agriculture and Food what costs are cyclical and what costs are here to stay. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that the cost of eggs jumped 49% since this time last year. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average price of chickens is starting to drop. It's only declining by a few percentage points, but it's the first time the product's cost has decreased since July 2021. Bailey Wolstenholme with the State Department of Agriculture and Food said the increase in the cost of eggs is partly due to 2022's avian flu outbreak. So a winter storm warning in effect until 5 o'clock Monday morning for the mountains of northern Utah for heavy snow. Total snow accumulations of 1 to 3 feet, with locally up to 4 feet in the western Uintas and Provo Canyon, locally up to 5 feet in the upper Cottonwoods by Monday morning. So travel will be impacted at times in our area over Sardine Canyon and Logan Canyon, especially at the summit. Whereas before we did have a winter weather advisory in effect for the valley locations, that has been dropped as they're expecting more of a rain event. Rain this evening, rain likely after midnight is the updated forecast for the Cache Valley. And then on Saturday, rain in the forecast, high around 40. Rain Saturday night, and then New Year's Day, snow likely, with accumulations possible, high in the upper 30s. It's been to 37 today. KBNU weather brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Save up to $16 on a pair of Rain-X wiper blades, or take a $10 instant rebate on a set of Napa Exact Fit wiper blades. Also get 50 pounds of ice melt, $10 a bag at your 5 locally owned Preston to Providence Napa Auto Parts stores. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com. We'll check Wall Street with Edward Jones next.
In the beginning of time, in a land far away, hid a material in the earth so versatile that once discovered would give way to a century of innovation. From primitive weapons to railroads to buildings that scrape the skies.
What is it? Steel. And without it, our world would look much different. Nothing is stronger or more versatile than steel. And if you want a building that'll stand the test of time, call Northern Steel Buildings at 435-677-7300 or visit northernsteelbuilding.com. That's northernsteelbuilding.com.
This is Branch Office Administrator Brittany Chambers bringing you the Daily Financial Market Report on behalf of Financial Advisor Daryl Arnell and Edward Jones. After logging the biggest one-day gain this month yesterday, the S&P 500 finished slightly lower today. There was no change in the market narrative, with no major economic releases scheduled. Trading volumes were thin ahead of New Year's celebrations. The tech-heavy NASDAQ rebounded from its midday lows with strength from the communications sectors. Energy was the only S&P 500 sector to rise today, supported by a 2.5% gain in oil prices. Elsewhere, the 10-year Treasury yield rose to 3.88%. Today, U.S. equities closed lower. The Dow closed down 74 points, or 0.22% at 33,147. The NASDAQ closed down 12 points, or 0.11%, at 10,466. The S&P closed down 10 points, or 0.25%, at 3,840. In stocks of local interest, Nucor was down $1.75 to $131.81. Thermo Fisher was down $6.32 to $550.69. Zions Bank was up 8 cents to $49.16. And Northrop Grumman was up $3.61 to $545.61. In commodity markets, the price of crude oil was up $1.96, or 2.5%, at $80.36, and the spot price of gold was up $3.70, or 0.2%, to $1,829.70. This has been today's Financial Market Report, brought to you on behalf of Edward Jones, member SIPC, and financial advisor Daryl Arnell, serving individual investors with personalized attention and financial advice. If you would like additional information, please contact an Edward Jones branch office in Providence, Logan, or Smithfield. Daily commentary is also located on our website at edwardjones.com.
John Weiss here from Heritage Ram. Well, there's a special feeling in the air this time of year. You know what I'm talking about. Yep, it's the Big Finish 2022 sales event at Heritage. Say goodbye to 2022 with a great deal on a tough Ram truck. Like no monthly payments for 90 days on a 2022 Ram 1500. No matter what your pickup needs are, there's a Ram that's as tough as you are. Find out why Ram Trucks is the brand with the highest owner loyalty in the nation. Heritage Ram in Brigham City, Tremont, and Logan. Your hometown dealer with the biggest deals.
When deciding on a Medicare plan, don't be just another number. Expect to be known and valued at Jessup Insurance and Retirement Services. Think about this. When you respond to a national Medicare mailer or an 800 number, or even give your life's history to an out-of-state telemarketer, the reality is this. You will never speak to the same person twice, and they don't have your best interest at heart. At Jessup Insurance, you will never be just another number. Call Jessup Insurance at 435-213-3200 for personal Medicare help today.
Jessup Insurance and Retirement Services, let us guide you.
Wilson Motor Company, we make car buying easy. Hey, easy to get in your next car, truck or SUV. 4 generations strong, sure you'll agree. Wilson makes it easy with no pressure on you. Buy the way it should be with the Wilson crew. Wilson Motor Company, we make car buying easy.
Senior Moments, sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group on News Talk KVNU.
My name is Bruce Lee. I am here with my co-host Sid Roeder. We're here for another fun show.
This radio show is sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group, which is a group of professionals that has dedicated their time and efforts to provide information that is hopefully useful to seniors, their family members, caretakers, and really anybody who's interested.
Senior Moments, every Saturday morning at 7:30, right here on News Talk KVNU.
Excited as I am?
By the sounds of it, no.
So how did movies do in 2022? Wow. Rhymes. I didn't even plan that. This is an ongoing topic here on the movie show for a couple of years now since the pandemic. Will movies, at first it was, is this going to forever change the experience of going to a movie? Then, it quickly apparent that that wasn't going to happen. I still say that the big theater chains especially are just, hurting themselves by not learning a couple of lessons from that. The status quo isn't going to cut it. And that lesson actually should have been learned with the popularity of MoviePass, even though MoviePass went belly up because of bad management and, a lack of finding investors, which was a bad idea for them. I still say MoviePass showed that there is definitely a big appetite out there for something different than what the big theater chains have been giving us. So I think they're hurting themselves by they seem to be banking on the fact that, the pandemic came along, it threw things up in the air, now things have settled back down, and people will just accept, the status quo, with the biggest innovation of the year being now you can buy your popcorn through the app. I don't think that's going to cut it. I think movie chains are going to have to start stepping things up, quality-wise, experience-wise, comfort-wise, price-wise. They're going to, and if they don't think they are, they're probably going to regret that. But at the same time, one thing they did bet correctly on, it paid off for them, was that people would come back. It did take a while, but again, as Andy and I have discussed many times over, did it take a while because a lot of the big studios and production companies were holding off on a lot of these big? I mean, Top Gun was delayed 2 years, I think. Andy will have to correct me on that when he gets here, but it's that why people didn't rush back in 2021, or was it still concern about the ongoing pandemic? Numbers were still high then. We had just been through or started the vaccination process nationwide and worldwide. Maybe that was a part of it. Maybe, but maybe it was because there wasn't as much to get out and see. In 2022, we finally saw a lot of these films hit. Jurassic World Dominion. I don't know why I led with that one. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Top Gun Maverick, The Batman, Avatar: The Way of Water, still in theaters right now. These were big movies that we hadn't seen for a while. And is that why everybody got their butts back in seats? I kind of think so. And maybe a little bit of, the pandemic still on everyone's minds and still wanting to, maybe hold off or something like that for at least a large number. But the top grossing films, I was just about to run through this, Andy. This is domestic, by the way, and you'll probably know more as far as...
Have you been talking behind my back?
Worldwide. Yeah, I have. And Andy, another thing Andy's horribly wrong about, the Minion movies are great.
I have never said that, although Muppets do still worship Satan.
You just haven't seen the right Muppet film.
Name one good Muppet movie.
All of them. That's every single one.
By saying that, you invalidate every other opinion you have. I just want you to know that.
I know a lot of people that think the Muppet Christmas Carol is the best Christmas Carol. I don't agree with them, by the way. The Muppets and The Great Muppet Caper were my two favorites. But
Jason said to watch. Jason said to watch The White Lotus. Yeah, but he also likes the Muppets.
And also, although I have to warn everybody, The White Lotus, it's not rated because it's HBO. If this were a film, it would be and very much earn that R rating.
I wanted to.
I'm shocked by this. Sorry.
I was just going to say really quick. I know we're going to talk about
I'm just blown away.
Best and worst of the year. But I do want to mention two other quick things that just as a segue to excite you. I want to make you excited.
I don't know.
You seem look. You're on the border.
Wait,
I can tell.
Let me do this first because this is the end of my thought, and then I'm done with it. And then
it's not. But
this is just. I was talking about what got people back into seats.
Sure.
And so I'm looking at the top 10 highest grossing films of 2022, domestic only.
Okay.
And. Well, let's put it this way. So it's Top Gun, number one.
Top Gun, yeah. Top Gun's in the top 4, I think, now. It's number 4 or 5. Yeah. All-time domestic history.
That is... Well, so just domestic, just the United States, Top Gun, Black Panther, Doctor Strange...
Yeah, I think that's just
everybody gave it that one shot. Everyone's like, it's going to be good.
Everyone's like, yeah, Marvel's back.
Not going again. Jurassic World Dominion, it surprises me that's number 4. But again, that same thing.
How much?
Everybody
what is
that
it, like 360?
Yeah, 376 now, which is about almost 100 million less than the next one, Doctor Strange, which surprises me that it made almost as much as Black Panther.
And let's be honest,
Forever.
360 million in 1993 was awesome. 360 million in 2022 means it was okay. Like, we're not going to cry, but we're not very happy.
So
we're disappointed.
This is what kind of surprised me. Top Gun Maverick, $718 million. Domestic only.
People in other countries are like, maybe not.
Yeah, that's still kind of...
Especially in North Korea.
Like, isn't that still kind of low?
No, that's huge. $750?
718 million.
I mean, look at the top 5 movies of all time domestic, right? Number one's The Force Awakens with almost $1 billion.
Yeah.
Number 2 is
Titanic.
No, I think number 2 is Avengers Endgame.
Oh yeah, the last one.
And then number 3, you tell me if I'm right here. We'll see how my memory is. Number 3, I believe, is either Avatar or Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Okay.
Number 4, I think, is Top Gun. I think Avatar's number 5, or maybe Avatar's 4 and Top Gun's 5.
How does James Cameron get on there twice?
I don't know. And you know what? The thing with James Cameron, he's such an unpleasant person.
Yes, very
You
much
know what I mean?
so.
You're just like, dude, like, have some. I mean, I get it, right? But he just seems like that kind of guy that you'd like come into the office in the morning. You'd be like, "Good morning, everybody," and he wouldn't say anything, and you'd be like,
"Yeah,
hello, James. Good morning," and he'd be like, "What's so great about it?"
That is sort of. Oh, one quick thing about Avatar. This maybe doesn't surprise me. I don't know. I didn't know any theaters were open. Avatar, The Way of Water, made almost $30 million on December 25th.
I think a lot of people
day.
wait. I talked to people a week before
Christmas Day, though. You're like, what?
I want
to throw some James Cameron into this.
We used to do that as a family. We used to go to a movie on Christmas. Let me throw this out, or Christmas Eve even.
I just didn't know that many people
Sure.
did it. But
Well,
$33 million in one day.
So I was right, Jason. I feel validated here. Top 5 highest grossing movies all time
ever. Okay.
Domestic. We got to point that out. Domestically is Star Wars: Force Awakens with $936 million. Avengers Endgame, $858 million. Spider-Way. It's a racing car.
That's the fourth one.
Whee! Spider-Way.
So Pixar meets Marvel.
Spider-Man: No Way Home, $814 million. Avatar, or as we say in France, never mind.
Avatar.
That joke was going nowhere. That's at $785 million, and that's the only movie that's not in the top 5 that hasn't been made in the last 12 years.
That's
Top Gun is 5.
Interesting part of that all of the top earners are in a very short period of time.
Well, and here's one other thing. 16 of the top 20 are all now Disney properties. And the oldest ones in the top 20 is The Phantom Menace at number 20 in 1999, The Dark Knight in 2008 at number 14, and then you've got Titanic at number 8 in 1997, and then you've got Avatar at number 4 at 2009. Now, this is important, and I'm just going to say this because I don't normally look at worldwide because I don't really care about other places but the United States. Just kidding. But it's different. So here's something that's going to blow your mind.
Really quick, a memory just popped into my head. The Dark Knight is the first movie I remember talking to you about on the movie show in 2008. I'm sure.
No, it's true.
You think it would have been?
You and I had we
that's
sat
my
there.
First memory,
and we were talking with Tyler Riggs about how the Oscars had to do something because WALL-E had been shafted, The Dark Knight had been shafted, like Tropic Thunder. Like we were just like. Okay. Anyway, sorry, I just was distracted there for just 1 minute.
Is there a critter outside?
Something. So 2002 worldwide box office.
I'll just close
I'm
that
so
blind.
sorry.
So you can't see whatever it is that scared you.
I heard that 1980s Rockwell song. Anyhow, I did not know this. I am massively cannot believe what I'm about to say here. Oh, wait, you know what? I just was looking at the wrong thing. I was looking at worldwide.
Say it anyway.
No, I was looking at worldwide for 2022, and I was about to say, I can't believe this. But no, let me say lifetime grosses worldwide. Oh, for heaven's sakes, I can't navigate the internet. Can someone come and help me? I feel like Grandpa. Grandpa can't do the internet.
Well, you're figuring out the tubes there. Do you know what? I learned a surprising bit of movie trivia.
What's that?
While researching for today's
show.
Howard the Duck made $38 million domestically.
Well, that's too much. Who was that?
Sorry.
It was me.
The
One of them
$38 million was
me.
worldwide. It was only $16 million domestically.
Let me ask you a question. What do you think?
George Lucas is like, what
What do you think the highest
Howard
grossing
the what?
movie, the highest grossing movie of all time worldwide is? Don't look.
Worldwide?
Yeah, I bet you already know.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
All time?
All time. This just is
Is it
why
The Force Awakens?
No, it's
not.
It's still Avatar. And listen to this
Really?
listen to this lifetime gross. 2.9 well, worldwide lifetime gross 2.9 No, I'm sorry. All that's domestic included. Foreign lifetime gross $2.1 billion.
That's crazy.
The
wasn't
domestic
that
gross
good.
The
It
domestic
wasn't
gross.
bad.
The domestic gross is only 27% of its entire haul. So,
I don't understand, really. And I'm saying that as someone who liked the movie.
But let's go
I
down.
did, and the sequel.
Let's go down. This is crazy.
But why?
This just shows you why. I was talking to somebody about this.
Was it just the technology?
I mean,
was it just that new? And
companies, let me say this. Up until, I want to say, probably the 2010s, maybe the late 2000s, movie studios, Hollywood, whatever you want to call it, however you want to label it, their focus was domestic. Yes, you're thinking about a broad audience, right?
Yeah.
But I think the worldwide audience has changed. So here's when we talk about representation in movies too, right? Like people of color, LGBTQ plus. Excuse me.
Movie show guys dying.
It's more than just domestic, right?
Yeah.
These are worldwide movies now. This we're not just making movies for people in New York and Los Angeles and Topeka and whatever.
Well, and that's why I say, I'm not saying $718 million for Top Gun Maverick is
and I'm
disappointing. I'm just surprised it seems low.
But this is what I wanted to.
Everybody got excited about movies again this year.
But this is what I want to break out. That is a very much American-centered box office hit.
Yeah,
because worldwide, domestic, it's 50%.
Yeah.
Of its haul, right? If you look at these other ones, Avengers Endgame.
Isn't Tom Cruise huge in Japan, though?
Avengers Endgame
love him.
Is only 30% domestic. When I talk about the hauls, let me read you these top 5 really quick, because this is surprising to me. Avatar is still number 1, 2009, and we mentioned that 27% of its overall gross, which is almost $3 billion, only 27% is domestic, meaning United States. Avengers Endgame is number 2 with, again, 2.8 billion, and 30% is only domestic. Titanic is still number 3 with $2.2 billion. Again, 30% of its gross is domestic. Force Awakens, 45% is domestic. Avengers Infinity War, 33%. Spider-Man No Way Home, 42%. Jurassic World, 40%. The Lion King 2019, don't know how that made it. 32%. The Avengers, the 2012 version, 41% domestic. But this is the one that kills me. These next 2 movies just blow my mind. Furious 7, only 23%. Right?
It made more globally than U.S.?
It did.
That surprises
but
me.
Maverick...
That's also a very...
The Maverick one does not... That being almost 50%, that's the highest domestic... When you look at all the movies in the top 10, right, worldwide, Top Gun Maverick is almost 50% of its gross is domestic. So, yes, it made money elsewhere, right? But that was a huge hit in the United States.
Okay, that's fair.
And let's be honest, it makes sense. It's a very, and this is not a criticism of the movie. I loved it. It was our runner-up for Best Picture. But it's very rah-rah, yay, fighter pilot.
That's the whole point
Navy,
the franchise, basically. But I was thinking about this. This is a horrible thing to bring up with a minute and a half left in this hour. We're going to keep it going into hour 2, though, by the way. Extended movie show today to recap the year and look ahead. But So I got thinking about, favorite movie experiences, all this, and I realized I didn't dislike anything I saw this year. And some stuff I really liked. But I have to honestly say I had more fun in a broad look at the whole year sense.
Yeah.
I had more fun on streaming services than I did in movie theaters this year.
That's interesting.
And so maybe we can talk about that, but this is a funny little tidbit. So I'm looking at top streaming. And no real surprises. Like top TV show for the year so far on Netflix is Wednesday.
Okay.
And second, Emily in Paris.
I actually saw a New York Times article that said, "Why are we still watching this?"
I don't know. The Glass Onion, no surprises, is the top movie streamed on Netflix for the year. That makes sense. But here's a surprising one to leave everybody with for wrapping up hour one of the movie show here. I got to talk fast, 15 seconds. Disney Plus, top streaming movie, Strange World. They made that. That's cool. Despite all of the stuff they had out this year's top streaming TV show on Disney Plus in the entire year, Bluey. They're still a kid.